Hello, this is Bill Meridian speaking to you again on February 27, 2026 with a very short video based upon the Uranus eclipse square that occurred earlier in February. And just as a reminder, we still have the old website billmeridian.com, which ran out of space, so we have a new one at billmeridianastrology.com if you're interested in any of the books or services. This is a slide from one of my prior presentations, and I've outlined in red here February 28th, which is tomorrow. Mars hits the eclipse point, which was 28, 29 degrees Aquarius, which was square Uranus at 27 Taurus. So that's the reason for this presentation. Now here's the chart of the eclipse. You obviously 28 Aquarius 49 is square to 27 Taurus 32, which I'm sure most of you already know. And this is, again, I'm repeating that in the years I've done mundane astrology, I've found this chart to be just as important as the 1979 People's Republic chart. This is March 21, 1935, when the prior Shah changed the name of the country from Persia to Iran, and the sun was at 28, Pisces 48, which is where Saturn and Neptune have been transiting. They don't have water, they don't have food. I mean, the symbolism is obvious. The leadership is under pressure, under assault. They're losing their power. And here is the Islamic People's Republic. And you will note that Saturn has just moved off. It was on Vesta, Mars, Mercury, and is now headed toward the Sun. And this is the date, June 11th, 1883, when Iran, which was then Persia, established official diplomatic relations with the United States. And I have an arrow drawn here because you will notice that Uranus is headed right toward Pluto at 0 Gemini 12 and right toward Saturn at 2 Gemini 19. Now, this chart is the predominant chart, or what Charles Jane would call the base chart of U.S. or Persian or Iranian diplomatic relations. But they broke relations on April 7th, 1980, which is the chart from 1980 up to the present. This is a modifying chart, as Charles Jane would call it. And you will notice that this chart has something very striking. Mars at 25 Leo 52 square Uranus at 24 Scorpio 56, which obviously is not a harmonious relationship. More than that, it's being set off by the eclipse. The eclipse is opposite Mars, and Saturn is opposite Uranus, making it a grand cross of eclipse Uranus, natal Mars Uranus, which is fairly unstable. So now if this Islamic Republic falls, then we skip back to the prior Iran-U.S. diplomatic relations. This is the way it works with Cuba also. If a country ends diplomatic relations with another country, you use that break date is the new chart, but it is a subsidiary chart. It is a modifying chart to the foundation chart, to the big chart, which is dominant. So the eclipse Uranus square, as I pointed out before, Israel's Mars 28 Leo, Netanyahu's Mars 27 Leo, Trump's Mars 27 Leo, and I've added in from the last presentation the most recent Iran-USA diplomatic relations, Mars 26 Leo square Uranus at 25 Scorpio. Now this hits tomorrow, and it is hard for me to believe that there's not going to be an attack, because if you set up a 90-degree dial for these next 2 days, they look pretty bad, Friday and Saturday. So we'll see what happens, but I expect there to be some sort of an action against Iran, perhaps beginning tomorrow. I expect the stock market to sell off in relation to that, drawing upon the 90-degree dial. So the 90-degree dial does show for the 27th, which is today, Mars-Uranus / node Sun equals Admetus. Mars-Uranus Admetus shows up in automobile crashes and personal charts, and this involves two personal points, the Sun and the node. Or you can look at it another way. Mars equals Uranus equals Saturn equals node equals Sun. So that is Uranus Admetus is bearish for the stock market, as is Mars Admetus. So it all appears to be shaping up. So that is the end of the presentation. And as always, if you want to learn more about mundane astrology, Mastering Geopolitical Prediction, available at the website, The Old Predictive Power of Eclipse Paths, and In Search, Volumes 1 and 2. And these are all the products that are available if you are interested. It's been my pleasure talking to you again, and until the next time, goodbye for now.